Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Davina,
And I'm Hobart.
and today our topic is going to be everything you've asked us about banks. And so we're going to go through all the comments and we're going to comment on our experience here in the Philippines with banks.
Sure.
But before we get to that, we just wanted to say we just got back from our trip.
And Isabela.
Isabela, it's up north about like 5-6 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a treacherous road.
Yes, we went through. What's that city called?
Imangan or
No.
I don't know, but we were
We went
given a
through-
warning.
Yeah, we went through Amingan and then
Umingan.
I know, but what's that? Maliko. We went to
Maliko,
Maliko and then
okay.
Santa Fe.
So we were given some insight. We were told like, hey, watch out when you're going through Maliko. Don't go at night. And so that's exactly what we did. We went at night.
So that way you guys can learn from our experience, right?
But we heard that there's like carjackings and stuff, just
Mhm.
don't want to like scare you or anything. Philippines is relatively safe. Look, we got home. We're fine.
Yes.
But
yeah, but it was fun. So how was your experience going up north to Isabela?
I had so much fun in Isabela. We went to go visit some family, and they just hooked us up. I mean, like Filipino style. Okay, we ate so much good food, and I feel like I definitely ate enough for like the weeks to come. And they blessed us. They blessed us with guayabano leaves. So now I'm drinking my tea, waiting for my body to start twitching and for me to like, I don't know what. But I heard it has medicinal stuff, so I'm drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
And they hooked us up with like vegetables, and we got to go fishing. Hero got a fish, and it was just a great time.
Yeah, it was really nice. So shout out to the Rarangol family.
Yes, shouts
Right,
out.
shout outs. They are in Isabela, very down to earth. My how we came to know them is that my brother is with one of the daughters, right, Miss Valen, and yeah, we went up there just to visit them and see how they're doing. Actually, family members from came down to Philippines, and yeah, we just went there to say hello. It was an amazing trip. We stayed at a resort called La Perfecta, and or La Perfecta, and it was beautiful. They had three pools, 3 feet, 5 feet, and 6 feet. Right, that's the depth of the pools. They had a slide on the 3 foot pool, and then on the 6 feet. But it was really awesome. I mean, our kids had a blast. The family came over on one of the days, and we just had fun. So I tried a new food that's based in Ilocano or Ilocos region. Do you remember what that food is called that they made for breakfast?
Oh, some soup or something.
I know, but I forgot already.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forgot already, but they made like a whole pot of it. It had all kinds of vegetable with fish, and it was so tasty. Something else too is they made Carrion made torta for us.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
If you don't know what
goodness.
torta is, it is an eggplant that has been
Grilled.
so
And they
the
take
smoky
the
flavor.
skin off the
They
eggplant,
flatten the eggplant.
and then they cook it in with egg, like fry
And
it
salt
with
and
egg,
pepper or
salt,
some?
pepper, and then they dip it in soy sauce. So Karyong was telling me, it's like, oh yeah, what we do is we use soy sauce with some calamansi and a little bit of, I think, bagoong. Ugh,
It was good. It was good.
it was so tasty.
Greatest, best weekend ever.
So when we got there really late, fashionably Filipino time this morning, and the majority of the family already ate, but Karyong and Alfred, they waited for us, and there's like probably like half of whatever serving is for the eggplant. I devoured
We
like
ate it all.
I devoured
I
like
had 3 eggplants
three.
this
I had
morning.
like
It
these
was
are big, massive
delicious.
eggplants,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I
Now
had
I need to
three.
go walk like 15
Oh
miles.
my gosh, it was so tasty. What else did they have? They had like langonisa. They had hot dogs for the kids, rice, of course, and it was just like so tasty. But the day before, they they got a goat.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the
the
goat. It
goat.
was tasty. They had caldereta.
And what's the one?
Um, oh
Pinapaitan.
yeah, and so we also had dinardaraan.
Oh
It was
yeah.
duck dinardaraan. I've never had that before.
How was it?
I've usually had like goat dinardaraan or pork
Yeah,
dinardaraan, but not duck. It was good. It was good. I was
Hey,
like, oh my gosh.
they had
It's,
duck
they
like adobo or
They had
something.
duck
It was
adobo.
delicious.
It was good. So
Yeah.
we had duck, we had goats, we had fish from this family.
And lots
Now,
of vegetables.
oh my gosh, it's so down to earth.
They were like farm to table. Absolutely. Like it was
Absolutely.
like nothing in between the farm and the table.
Yeah.
Boom.
Everything they fed us was so fresh. In
Yeah.
fact, like they cut the goat open. It was the duck was cut open. The
Yeah.
chicken they made today was cut open.
They were
This
asking
is their
other-
stuff, okay?
So they were like, "Hey, do you want us to get a goat or a chicken?" And I'm like, "No,
We're
like,
good,
I don't want to."
We're good.
I'm like, "Stop that, Like, because
it
I'm
was
like,
so good though.
I love the animals so much. I'm just like, I am gonna eat lots of vegetables, guys. I have the hardest time but I love meat. I love the way everything tastes. It's just that like I feel so sad.
It's
like I'm
chuckles.
Oh,
It's
I'm so
chuckles.
I feel so sad eating the animals. So I try really hard. Like I'm like, yeah, okay, yes, something died. You know, really, really, really nearby.
Okay, so Davina is traumatized about eating chickens now.
And even goat.
But
I saw one die in front of me, and it was just like,
oh no!
I can remember his face, and
Yeah.
it has never like left my face, like left my head, like my brain.
So it was so nice. Now I'll tell you, I think I've met a part of the family from the U.S. maybe once.
Oh yeah, we met
right?
them one time years
One
ago.
time years ago. I don't know, 7 years ago.
Probably.
And it was like hanging out with them.
Mhm.
Like hanging out with them was so cool, so down to earth. I mean,
We had a blast.
we had such a blast,
Yeah.
such a blast. What we saw Maga Dam.
Yeah, they took us to
Hey,
the dam.
It was like a make America
Make
great
America
again
great
dam.
again dam. Look. If you guys want to see where we went, we have a few lives that we did just recently. Just look back in our feed and find them there.
Yeah,
But we did go to Mega
Dam.
No,
It's a silent T.
Magat.
guys. It's Magat Dam.
Dam.
I guess a few years ago it was the biggest dam.
Yeah.
In Asia or
I
maybe in
don't
the
know.
world at one
It
point.
was a big dam. And it
Huge.
was hot. It was
Was
like,
hot.
we need to go jump in that water. We need to go to the pool. And we spent the rest of the day in the pool. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure the kids were freezing because at one point, like, the pool was cold.
We also went to Camp Viscara.
Viscara.
Camp Viscara.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was like
cool.
it had like
Water. Flowing water.
like rapids. They had rapids
Mhm.
down there. But they used to, according to Valen's mom, she said that they used to allow people to swim in there.
But people have died.
There was an accident, and then they prohibited people from swimming in
We
there.
saw people in the
But we saw one guy just took his shirt off and was like,
He dipped. So that was wild. That water was
I
fat.
think he was probably inebriated.
Maybe.
Maybe. Right?
But they had ice cream there. It was like it was the whole experience.
It was great. So
yeah, we had fun.
we did this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what else. So okay, this family is such an awesome family hangout. We got there, right, and the first thing that they did was they fed us. So I ate like duck, goat, right, like farm to table vegetables. It was exquisite, phenomenal.
Nothing processed.
Yeah, and you know
Everything
what?
was
It's like
fresh.
there was probably like 30 people at their house.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Because it's around harvest season.
Big family.
It's a harvest season, and their family they're farmers, and so they have a lot of people helping them. And like This family, they have like family home, right? A family home, and then another family home. They're so well known in that area.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
they have a street named after them.
After
I was
that.
like,
I was like, Auntie, is
What
that
is
your,
it?
that's your street?
That's
That's
your
your,
street.
its name? She's like, oh no, there's so many of us in this neighborhood.
So
She's like, I was like, oh okay, I thought you owned the road.
Yeah, I was like, they have a street name after them. I don't know if that was like man legit. You know your family made it. Like they made the mark if there's a street name after them.
It was fun. We had a great time.
We took the kids fishing. The
Mhm.
kids such a had so much fun at the farm that they wanted to come back the next day, which was today. So
Yeah.
guess what? They went today, and there was a family member just down there and throwing and casting this net, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I felt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, because
like-
he got like fully
He got
submerged.
fully submerged. This guy was like just wearing a
In
shirt
the
and
pond.
in his underwear. And I was like, because my kids wanted to get some fish. And I'm like, oh gosh. I got there late, right?
Mhm.
Davina and Valen's mom with the kids and Karyung.
We went to go get
They
some
went to go get some
soursop.
soursop.
Okay, so the ladies, the older women, us ladies, we went looking foraging with the plants and stuff. So we were just having fun, like picking all the chilies off the plants.
I wasn't with them.
The
Okay?
kamati,
I
like
wasn't
we
with
went
them.
we went
I was
ham
like,
on the plants.
okay, I told my wife, I was like, look, I don't want to take anything back, right? But
Oh,
I
yeah.
get there.
No, we had a full
We have
car.
like a sack of mungo beans.
They even gave me a whole plant.
a sack of rice. We have like a bag full of
Chili.
squash. No,
Oh yeah, we got some
carabasa.
squash. Yeah,
Squash.
calabasa.
Some chili, right? We have oregano,
Yeah.
or like the plant. We have guayabano
A
leaf,
whole plant.
right?
Plant.
Like what else?
I mean,
Um,
we went.
And they were gonna give us more. I was like, no, auntie.
We'll come back next
We'll
week.
come back next week. We're
next
good.
week.
They wanted to give us more vegetables, and I was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna be back in a week.
They said they're gonna hook me up with a tree.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
excited. I'm excited. We gotta have space for that.
So
tree.
let me go back to my story. Okay, so
We will get to the bank.
we will get to the
We'll
bank.
get to the bank, guys.
So I get there, right, and my kids, they don't have the fishing poles like yesterday. They had a guy over there with the fishing net trying to catch fish for the kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed that my kids wanting to fish has pushed this whole adventure towards somebody getting in the water with a net. And I'm like, oh, how could it gotten so far? But you know what?
They're having fun.
Me being embarrassed about the situation, right? This is just me in my mind. Me being embarrassed about the situation. They were so down to earth that I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna say anything about it. I'm just like, all right, kids, let's go, because the guy wasn't, what the family member wasn't catching any fish, and the fish
But he
that were
caught
caught, they were so small,
They're baby
and
fish.
and I'm like, the excuse was like, oh, we're going to use it for this later on, but I was like, man, that fish, they could have lived longer, and they could have been bigger, but.
All right.
This farm this farm experience, and let me tell you, okay, my kids have been to farms before, but when they go to farms, I'm not there to see them enjoy it. And seeing my kids today enjoy the farm makes me want to have my own farm, because they were having such a blast going out there, running around, getting the fishing pole. My son was just like, and my daughter were so happy catching the fish, and they were like competing. We were back at the hotel. Here at the hotel, they have their iPads, there's a TV, there's a Nintendo Switch, and here they are talking about, well, I caught a bigger fish than you. Like, that's it. That's all I have to do to get you guys off of electronics, is to take you guys to the farm, play with a few fish, and then you guys won't play with electronics anymore. And this is why we came to Philippines, right?
Yeah.
So that way our kids can enjoy these experiences. And I really appreciate the family for accommodating us and for, you know, entertaining our kids and what they wanted to do.
Yeah, it feels really great to spend time with the Filipino community. You know, our kids are Filipino, and we want to give them that upbringing, that lifestyle, that culture that they can get here in the Philippines. And you know, spending time on the farm is one of those things.
Mhm.
So it's really great to get that experience, to try different foods that we've never had before. And I had so much fun learning about all of the different plants that were around, and like learning how to identify them, what the names are, how to cook them. So I had so much fun too. It was like I was so much fun. Like I
That
had a blast.
family is so down to earth,
Yeah,
so down to earth. I mean, I was like,
yeah, we had a good time. Okay,
true,
so
true, like Filipino family, true Filipino family, right? I mean, we couldn't leave there without anything. Like I was like, all right, we even planned it. I was like, all right, look, check it out. They're probably gonna give us a whole bunch of stuff. Let's try not to take anything.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, the mango bean. I said, like, they're gonna offer mango beans. We'll take the mango beans. We'll take the rice. Oh no, they filled up the whole
The whole
back
car.
of the SUV with stuff, right?
It was great.
It was, but you know what?
It was funny. We were like, okay.
Were you the one who picked the calabasa? Because that was
No, that calabaza came right before we were leaving. I think Karyang's husband ran over to the bushes and pulled out 3 calabasas. Hit the like button, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah. Oh, his name was Alfred.
Yeah.
Such a down to earth guy. That's
Yeah.
right. So we went out because they have trucks, and we just bought an Everest. And I was like, he was looking at it. I was like, bro, you want to drive? Let's go.
Yeah,
so
they
we
went
took
for-
off. We
The
went
boys
driving.
left to go.
Yeah.
What is it? Test driving?
Yeah, he was test driving it, right? Because he's like, oh man, that looks so good. And it looked inside. I was like, bro, let's go test drive it. That's when we took off. And then that's when I left. And then everything just like, they went to the
Oh, the
farm.
girls, we were all over the place. We were all up in the trees. It was wonderful. So that was our trip this weekend to the farm. It was fantastic. And we made some instant friends for sure.
Yeah. So now we gotta plant this oregano, right?
Yeah.
And make sure it grows, because then if the family ever comes to the house, they're gonna be like, where's the plant? Where's the plant? You
I'm a
killed the plant that I
right?
gave you?
No,
This
no.
is it's like our friendship plant. You know what I mean? Like you better take care of the
it's-
stuff I give you.
it's
You know,
our
like,
love fund.
it's our fund.
Okay, so let's get into the bank stuff. Okay, you ready?
Is there anything else that we missed on that trip? Okay, we also went to Kawayan Mall,
Yeah.
SM Mall.
You know what? I didn't really care for that mall.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that
It
great.
was like 2 big circles. You walk around a circle, confused everywhere you go. Like,
Yeah.
did we walk down this hall or not?
But they had the AC in there was the best in all the SMs, I would say.
Yeah, it was freezing.
It was freezing in there. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, but I didn't really like the mall.
What about the resort that you stayed at?
The resort was great.
Mhm.
The resort was fantastic.
Yes,
So it was
it
good.
was-
It's only
it
been
was
there for 2 years, and it was a good resort.
So if you are in the Isabela area, I would say, and you have like dogs, because I inquired about the dogs. We inquired about the dogs today. You can bring dogs, but it's just that you can't.
It's a little inconvenient.
Yeah, the dogs can't be in the rooms. They can be in the backyard. They have to have their own kennel. They have to have their own cage.
You have to wear diapers.
They have to wear
the whole
diapers when
time.
walking around the premise, which means that you can't walk
So
them.
your dog is not really welcome. That's how they're not going to be comfortable there. I don't know. There is something about the Filipino culture requiring doggy diapers. If you bring your dog out in public or you take them to a store, or whatever, you can have a dog in a restaurant, which is not something I'm used to in America. So you'll be sitting having dinner or lunch in an enclosed room, and there's like a dog on top of the table. So, anyways, yeah, it's just
That's how much they care about their dogs
deal
here in the
with.
Philippines. Diapers, doggy
Oh,
diapers.
did you want to talk about this?
Okay, so now we are going to transition to why we are doing this live, which was What's the background behind this?
So we get a lot of questions. Okay, our number one video for moving to the Philippines is our bank video. How to open a bank account in the Philippines while living in the US.
Yes. And so there is a kind of a stigma about that you can't open banks in the US. You can't open
Filipino banks
in the US because if you're not a resident or a Filipino citizen or whatever it is. But that's not true. That is not the case. And for us, it was very easy to open a Filipino bank. We bank with Philippine National Bank, also known as PNB, and we opened it in the United States.
So if you want more information, very detailed as it's happening, go look at our video that says how to open a bank account in the Philippines while living in the US.
Yeah.
And so that one goes step by step. It shows you all the forms and everything. And then like other stuff that we ran into along the way, because we filmed that video from start to finish over 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, no, longer than that.
Yeah, maybe
No,
like,
because we got it in
we did all the different cuts.
It's February 2023, I think it was.
Yeah, so we did a bunch of different cuts. We started in December.
December of 2022.
And then by the time we published that one, it was after we had gone through all the steps and gotten our cards and everything else.
You're gonna see, I had short hair before.
Yeah,
now it's like
and he was beardless. He was looking young. Our kids said, they're like, "Oh, Mama, Papa, you guys look really young in that video."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, thank you." That was like 2 years ago. Last year.
Old. So okay, now we go back. So we did that video, and there's a whole bunch of comments and a whole bunch of questions that were put on there. And this video is solely to respond to some of those comments. What we would like to do is to read the comments verbatim and then respond to them here, so that way we can have a little bit more detail. Okay, so do you want to go?
Yeah, so I'm going to go. And also, people make a lot of comments about Navy Federal Credit Union, because we did do a loan with Navy Federal Credit Union on our vehicle. So we're also going to mix those in, because we just want to do all the banking stuff today. And if you're looking to get information on the Navy Federal Credit Union for getting a vehicle in the Philippines, you can go watch that video. And it's titled, I think, Everything to Know About Navy Federal Buying a Car in the Philippines, something like that. Okay. All right. You said you have Wells Fargo bank account before. I've been a member of Navy Federal Credit Union for over 35 years. Okay, so he goes on to tell me how long he's had it. He's telling me, drop Wells Fargo. And also, like Bank of America and Chase, they're predatory bank. He says they're evil and they'll screw you 9 ways to Tuesday. And then he tells me how much success he's had with Navy Federal Credit Union. All right, what are your comments?
I would say Navy Federal has been very good for as long as we have banked with them. We've had multiple loans with Navy Federal Bank, and these were for like properties. And then just recently, we went through them when we bought a vehicle here in Philippines. So we're buying a car in Philippines, and we're using a Navy Federal Bank account that's based in east of the United States, right? So yeah, it's that easy, and they make it so easy that all I had to do was call them up. They type up on the application, right, whatever it is, the information. I get approved for the credit of the loan, and boom, like a few days later, not a few days later, but however many business days it took, we had the money, we bought the vehicle, and we're good to go. So if you guys want to watch that video, there's actually a very detailed video on how we got the loan.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Next.
All right. And just so you guys know, my tea is kicking in. Okay. I drank some soursop tea. All right. And I'm starting to feel a little tired and a little relaxed. Weird. Okay. All right. It says here, great video, guys. Okay. Does the American version of the Philippine bank have a routing number? If so, you should be able to do an electronic transfer fund from US banks to the US version of the Philippines, then withdraw in Philippines. All right. So he's wondering if they have routing numbers.
So some banks, like Philippine National Bank. Now we're predominantly gonna talk about Philippine National Bank because that's who we got the banking with. When we went and opened a bank in California, and this was in Los Angeles, right?
Tired.
This was in Los Angeles, and when we opened that up, it was opening a branch here in Philippines, the closest one to where we live, right? Which is in the Tayog, Pangasinan area. So you have to know which branch you want to open up to. And they're just basically, it's a Philippine National Bank, but it was predominantly to either do Remitly and send money to your banks, but they can also open up banks for you from there, and they'll process the application. Okay, so we didn't really open a bank or an account branch in America. We opened up a bank account branch in Tayog, Pangasinan, which is the city that we are the closest to. And it was really easy. Unfortunately, they don't have a routing number. They go off of a SWIFT code. Okay, so can you transfer money, right? I think the main question is, can you transfer money from a bank that has a routing number, for example, Navy Federal, to a SWIFT code bank account, which is Philippine National Bank? Yes, you can. It just takes a little bit longer because it has to route from your bank to the U.S. Federal Reserve, then from the U.S. Federal Reserve all the way to Philippines, the bank account with a SWIFT code, and then you'll get it between 5 business days.
Yeah. And so we've done that multiple times, once to buy the car, and then once again, just to send ourselves money.
Yep.
So we're no longer doing Remitly. I'd say Remitly is the most expensive way to go. It might be the fastest way, you'll see it tomorrow or the next day, but it's not the best option.
Yes, it is not the best option. And so get this, right? Did you not did you know? But I've also learned through Navy Federal that if you're sending from your bank account, Navy Federal, in the United States to your own bank account in Philippines, that you don't even have to go through the application on your cell phone to email them and say, hey, I would like you to send this amount of money, right? If it's a third party bank, then the cap is 3,000 and then you have to send an email. But if it's from your bank in the US to your bank in Philippines, there is no cap. You can send as much money as you want, and you just call them up and say, hey, my name is so-and-so. This is my account number in the US. I want to send money to Philippine National Bank. This is my account number and SWIFT code in Philippines. I would like to send this much amount. And then they're going to say, all right, it'll be there in 5 to 7 business days. And because it's to yourself, you don't have to write an email or anything like that.
Okay. It says, I'm interested on what bank you have there in America to be able to open one in Philippines. I'm a Filipino citizen and became American citizen. Well, we use the Philippine National Bank, which was located in LA. And, they have branches all over the Philippines.
Yeah, they do have branches all over the Philippines. The only thing is, though, you need to know which branch you want to open a bank to. Whatever is closest to your family, that's probably the branch that you want to open at. As far as what bank we have in the United States, the bank that you have in the United States doesn't depend on, like, if you can open a PNB bank. Like, they didn't ask that information, like whether, hey, this banking or whatever. All the banks in the United States have routing numbers, and all you have to do is contact them, and then they should be able to send the money to a SWIFT bank account, which is like Philippine National Bank. It just has to go through the U.S. Federal Reserve.
Yeah, and this comment, someone was giving us a warning. They said, "Hey, be careful. PNB Bank is no longer owned by the Philippine government." And so they talk a lot about the new ownership, and basically they're saying like the Filipino souls were sold to World Bank financing, A B C D E F G.
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't know that information that it was owned by somebody who's not a Filipino, right? So didn't bother us any. Like, okay,
No, I mean
yeah.
we think about going to like BPI.
BPI, right?
Like maybe that's something we should do. But I mean, we've been to other banks while we're here in Philippines. I'd say
BDO.
that BDO is the biggest bank out here, but it's also like the longest lines. I don't know, like we can't use some of our US bank like debit cards. We can't use them at BDO. Like they're not, I don't know, they don't work at the BDO ATMs. So it's, but they work everywhere else. They work at like China Bank and but I've also gotten text messages on my phone after I've used a ATM for like phishing scams. So just be aware of that too, that there's phishing scams out here and all kinds, and it'll be sent to your phones, even if they're your US phone or your Filipino phone, they're using your numbers.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's really convenient.
let me see here. This is good information for me. I was in Manila back in May and tried to open a Filipino bank account, and I have a marriage license, and I was told, or proved that I was told to that I was married to a Filipino here. I'm gonna step out and use the restroom really quickly, but I know you can answer this one.
Which one?
It's like this information is good for me. I was in Manila back in May and tried to open a Filipino bank account, and I have a marriage license. I was told or had to prove that I was married to a Filipino.
Yeah. So with PNB, they didn't even ask for any of that stuff. They didn't. They just said like, "Hey, forms of ID, fill out this application. We'll open up a bank account for you in this branch. You know, how much do you want to put in?" And I think we put in like, I don't know, 200. We put in 250 for me, and then 250 for Davina, and so we were like, okay, $500, $250 is if it doesn't work, then it's a loss, and we took a chance. But the bank account that we opened is the ATM one. One of the options that they had was either like an ATM savings or an ATM passbook. We decided to go with the ATM savings, so that way we can have access to it wherever we go. As long as we have that bank, the ATM card, we can go to pretty much any ATM, and we can pull money out of our Philippine National Bank. We can be traveling to Japan, or we can be in the U.S., or we can be anywhere in Philippines, and we can go to any ATMs, and we can pull money out. And so that's it. I don't know if I answered that question appropriately or properly, but let me read it again. So, unfortunately, that's unfortunate that you had to go to Philippines to figure out that they didn't allow you to open up a bank account. But PNB wasn't like that. They did not care. My wife obviously is not Filipino, and they didn't even ask her whether she is a resident of Philippines. They just said, "Okay, you want to open up a savings account? Sure, no problem. How much do you want to put in there?" "Oh, okay, it's gonna cost $250. All right, sounds good." Did you have a hard time opening up a bank account through Philippine National Bank? Mm-mm. So,
I think Hobart had a harder time getting the account because he had an expired ID card or something that he was trying to use, and so we had to send like a valid one, like within the next 3 days.
Yeah. So right before we were leaving, I was transitioning from my my previous driver's license to the new one. I requested for a new one so that way I can have my driver's license brand new while we're here in Philippines. And so yeah, it was expired, but they were so nice. They're like, "Hey, we will take this, right? But as soon as you get your ID in the mail, can you please email it to me?" So I emailed it directly to the individual, and guess what? the process went smooth. They're like, I got your email. Thank you for sending us a copy of your ID. We will process this information and you are good to go. That was it. That was.
Very good. All right, here he goes.
Oh, wait, hold on. So the lesson is this: open a bank account in the United States. Maybe you should start that process. So we left the US August of 2023, but we started our banking process December 2022. That's when we went in there, we inquired, we filled out the application, right? It takes time. So once we filled out the application, it took what, 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
It took them 3 months to basically open up the account, and then they sent the card with the pin for us to go back and go pick it up. But we didn't go back to pick it up until like 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, from opening.
Okay, guys. It says, "Hey, I'm an American retired in Cebu for a year. I opened my account in Manhattan, PNB. That's cool. In my opinion, it's smart to have a dollar passport or passbook savings account in addition to the peso savings account." What is that anyway? What's the passport?
Basically, it's a booklet. It's a little booklet that is about this big, right? And it's got all your information in it. It's got your bank account number, and it's like a passport, right? You know how you go to a passport and they stamp it, right? And that's how you go through. So when you run out of pages on your passbook, you go back in there and get a new one. Now with this passbook, can you pull money out of an ATM? No, you have to go inside the branch, tell them, okay, here's my passbook. It's gonna have all the information in it. I want to pull money out. The ATM, the difference is the ATM, you can go to any ATM and pull money out. All right. So the passbook, you have to go inside the branch. The ATM card, you can go to the ATM teller.
Yeah. The other thing is somebody says, "Wow, thank you for the post. I thought it would be easy to move to the Philippines. I don't live in LA. Where else in the US are there banks and branches both in the Philippines and the US?" Then he tells me all the different places he's lived. And he said, "I thought the Philippines wanted me not to milk me with fees. I'll tell you right now, anything you do, you're getting a fee."
Oh, unless you got Charlie Schwab.
Yeah, that's the best way to go. If you're looking for bank answers, go Charles Schwab. But when it comes to the Philippines, if you're going to do anything like balance inquiry,
and you're gonna get a fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Transfer funds.
Yep, you're gonna get a fee, right? But I would say the best bang for your money, all right, for your buck, in terms of transferring USD to peso, not through Remitly, it would be a bank wire transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done it a few times from Navy Federal to Philippine National Bank.
It's the best.
It's the best. It's the cheapest. It is the cheapest. Because if you go Remitly, they'll take like a percentage of how much you send. But if it's from your bank, it's a flat rate of $25. Okay.
Yeah, and if you don't want to get a bank account at all in the Philippines, like Filipino Bank, just get Charles Schwab, and then any fees, anything at all, you get it all reimbursed.
Yeah. So I would recommend getting these 2 bank accounts, right? 2. One is a Charles Schwab. Hey, there you go. One's a Charles Schwab. And then the second one is, if you are an Apple user, right, get the Apple credit card, because the Apple credit card is 0 transaction.
And it's very secure.
Very secure. We see the transactions on our phones immediately.
Yeah, and what the Filipinos do is they take whatever phone, like whatever numbers you have on your card, they take it and they put it into their system. All these local systems are getting people's numbers put in their card, like their card number into the systems, which is actually something to compromise the safety of your card.
Yes.
And I've even seen them write the number down in a logbook, and that's not good either.
Yeah.
And so when you have you have the Apple Card, there's no numbers, and they actually have to take right here. Look, they have to take information off your invoice, and it doesn't show anything on your receipt. And so they basically just kind of like fudge the numbers.
They do,
They
and
don't
it's
even-
like
yeah.
it's not because their system,
It won't let them move forward.
their calculation or whatever, the department store system, right, is not connected to the bank swiper, right? So whatever they get from a swiper, they have to transfer that and put it directly into their store system. So that way they keep track of it for tax purposes later on of how much money was spent or whatever. But the thing is, they're writing your information on a piece of paper that is the digits for your bank number, they
even do the little 3-digit on the
3D
back.
on the back, and they also write down the expiration date.
Yeah.
And so with the Apple Card, guess
They
what?
can't get any of that.
They can't get any of that. And I'll tell you this, the Apple Card number that that you have, when they swipe that card, it's different. Like whatever they swipe, whatever Apple is doing changes the number. So that way they can't use that punch. They can't use the numbers that they get from there and try to falsely buy something else offline,
Right.
because it's not really your account. So they change it. Apple, hey, credit card,
Free commercial.
free commercial right here. And yeah, the same thing for Charles Schwab. Now, Charles Schwab is great. Like, we can pull money out of ATMs. Would I choose to pull money out of an ATM with my Charles Schwab or my PNB?
Charles Schwab,
Charles Schwab all the way. What's the maximum you pulled from Charles Schwab in one day?
Just like $500.
Yeah, but what is that though? Like
maybe like
25K?
more, like
Yeah.
30, 40K.
30, 40K, right? In a day, like 40,000 peso in a day.
And you don't really need that much, but
You
we
don't
were
need that
doing
much.
construction, so we needed it. But
Yeah. So with PNB, I think the maximum is like 10, 20, right? But I don't use my PNB ATM bank. I just go inside and pull the money out, so that way they don't charge me the ATM fees.
Very nice. Okay, cool. Update on my soursop. Okay, made me feel a little funny. I'm gonna Google later, Dr. Google. I need more info on this thing because it made me feel funny. But it is finally passed. Okay, I was having a lot of like stomach stuff and everything, but I feel better now. Woo! Science experiment on myself, and yeah, I'm okay. I lived.
Were you supposed to dry the leaves first?
No, you can eat. You can have the fresh leaves, but I did 3 leaves, and I cooked it, and then I let it steep for a little bit. Then I took the leaves out because I didn't want it to be overdone, and then I drank a little cup of it. And after about an hour, I started to have these effects, like I was getting sleepy, maybe a little tired. I don't know. It was like I was getting some anxiety because I'm just like, whoa, stuff is happening to my body. And then I was like reminding myself, like, it's cancer. It kills cancer. It it helps with sickness and everything else, right? All the great things I read about it. And so I was just kind of like trying to calm myself. But at one point I was just like, I'm going to have to lay down in the bed. But I feel much better now. It finally passed.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, I'm glad you feel better. I didn't know that was happening.
This
is happening live, guys.
I was like, oh God.
I was like, oh my goodness.
I was like, I can't even read right now. But no, I feel 100% better. So I'm glad it passed finally. Okay, it says, have you considered doing a USD to USD Philippine through World Remitly or Remitly as a cash pickup to get a better exchange?
No. You will not get a better exchange
And
through
you
Remitly.
will pay,
You'll pay
fees. No, I remember we would send like 1,000 USD, and we would pay $40 US in fees, and that's not worth it because you can send $1 billion and only pay $25 wire fee. So no, not worth it.
Don't do that.
Okay. Thank you for the post. It was very informative. My family is looking to move to the Philippines, and we've been searching and searching how to establish a financial part of that transaction and came across your video. Curious why you chose PNB versus a different bank. Is it because it was the only branch closest to you?
No, BDO was there too, and BPI was there. So, how do we determine that? I think it was just we walked.
We just went to
in,
PNB. I
we
mean,
just-
PNB is right next to the
Consulate?
immigration,
The
yeah, the consulate, and so you kill two birds with one stone. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, and you know what I'm learning too, as we use PNB, is that it's pretty cool. It's pretty secure. There's a lot of things here in Philippines that will like get you to force you to use Gcash and all that stuff, right? But I just do everything through PNB. PNB has an application,
Yeah.
right? And so this is what it looks like.
Nothing personal
Nothing
on there.
personal.
Okay,
It's just
not
my
getting
person,
hacked.
right? All that stuff right there. And what's happening is I can do all kinds of services through
You
here.
can pay the bills.
I can pay bills through
which
here.
we do. We pay bills.
Yes, which we do. And this is the different type of bills that you can pay, right?
It says airlines. It says electrical, the utility bill, phone bill, hospital bill.
So we pay the water bill, the phone bills here through PNB, but yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff here. It's really nice.
Yeah,
and
they
it's really
have
convenient.
applications. I would say that sometimes it's not user friendly. Some of the applications are you kind of like wondering like, what am I doing wrong? So I mean, they could work out some kinks with the with the applications, but for the most part, they work okay. Yeah.
It's great. And you know what too? It's the application is great. So if we ever do a bank transfer, so when we did a bank transfer from Navy Federal to our PNB bank, guess what? It showed up. It showed up on my application. So I was like, hey, it's there. All right, let me go to the bank and go get my manager's check. And yeah, it showed up and it's good to go.
Yeah, little tip, little secret for you guys out there. I mean, it should be a no-brainer, right? Don't look at your bank stuff or pay bills or do any of that while you are on an unsecure network. Okay, I'm pretty good about not looking at those things, but I'm pretty bad at like I look at my YouTube or I look at my Facebook on these unsecured sites. And what I have found that every time I am out either at a hotel, it's usually hotels, they have like unsecure networks and they're breached by these scammers. And so I'm constantly, anytime I log into a like unsecured network, I'm getting like phone number like scams, phishing scams. I'm getting just bombarded by my email. And so it's like it is real here in the Philippines, the unsecured network. And so I got hacked on my Facebook when we were in Mabini. And just yesterday, I got sent a phishing scam. Like it says, I'll read it to you guys. And it's on my Filipino phone number. So this is a very brand new phone number. I haven't given out to anyone. And it says, we received your interest in applying for a Union Bank credit card. We are now processing your application. Okay, and it says, kindly send 2 valid forms of ID to process team through Telegram, and they give me a phone number, or Viber, and they give me a phone number. It says, once we receive your ID, please wait for our verification call. Wow. If that isn't a phishing scam, I don't know what is. I'm not going to reply to them. But I kept the message because I wanted to share with you guys that, like, I just got this phone a month ago and I'm already getting, these phishing scams. And it's pretty alarming, especially since I have never given my phone out here. And it happens every time I log into these unsecured networks.
Yeah. So if you guys are planning to come out here to Philippines, I would say get those two cards, Charles Schwab, right? And then Apple credit card, just for the security. Charles Schwab is to send your money and pull at any bank account, zero transaction, and then the Apple card is for you to have safety and security. Because when you get the Apple card, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, man, this thing is so heavy." It's nice. It's platinum.
It's titanium.
It's titanium. It's all white. It just has your name on it with what is that?
With a chip.
With a chip and a Golden Sachs.
Yeah, Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs, but it's a Mastercard, right? But still, it is solid. It is good to go. You immediately, as soon as you swipe it, you see it on your phone. This transaction was done.
Yeah, and we have more than just one credit card. So if our credit card isn't working, we usually try like an American Express, and we see if that works. But in Philippines, they take American Express everywhere.
Yes.
Also, cash is king here. So if you sometimes they won't take card at all, and you just have to pay cash. Like at the hotels that we've been staying at, it's all cash. It's cash.
I lost my train of thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say something very important.
No,
I lost my train of thought.
Okay, wait.
Okay, so those two credit cards, right? Charles Schwab for ATM, no transaction fees, and then Apple credit card. Addition to that is that before you come to Philippines, you want to establish and you want to keep your US phone number. And the reason for that is for two-factor authentication code. You want to put two-factor authentication through your Navy Federal, your whatever you do online, right? So that way nobody can hack into your stuff, right? Another thing is to get a VPN, right? So that way you can kind of mask where you're located, because some banks in the United States are not going to allow you to do transactions if you're not on a US routing number. Okay, or IP address, I should say, not routing number. If you're not on a US IP address, they're not even going to open up the application.
Yeah.
So those two credit cards, all right, VPN, and make sure you keep a US phone for two-factor authentication. So there's two. We have two. The Filipino one and the US one. The US one, you do all your banking, you do all that stuff. The Filipino one, that's just for phones, taking photos, pictures, or whatever it may be, YouTube, right? But this one is the important one. All right. For us, we decided, we were like, okay, we've thought it out, we've planned it out, and it's by far the smartest thing we've done. Okay, and since we're talking about banking, didn't you have a question regarding joint accounts?
Yeah, somebody just recently today asked about joint accounts. They wanted to know if you could get a joint account with your Filipina.
Yes, I would say I highly discourage you to get joint accounts, and not for the purpose that not to trust the other person, but for the purpose of not putting all your eggs in one basket. Okay, the Filipino banks, they will only cover 500,000 peso, right? So that is equivalent to $10,000 or less, depending on the currency exchange rate. Okay, but if you have two accounts, one for your wife, one for your spouse, and one for yourself, then what happens is that is 500 for your spouse, right? That's covered, right? 500,000 peso, that's covered for your spouse, and then 500,000 peso for yourself. All right. Something else too to consider is that if you only have one ATM card or one passbook or one whatever it is, when that little ATM card is compromised, guess what? You're done. You're out of the water. Like what happened to all your money? right? What are you going to do with all the rest of your stuff? So I highly discourage you not to do that, just so for the purposes of those two things. One, having two ATM cards, just in case one's get lost or compromised, and two is that the Philippine reserve will only cover 500,000 peso per account, per name on that account. Okay. So if you have a joint account, guess what? That's only 500,000 peso. So if you're planning to have more than $10,000 in your Philippine bank account, let's say 20, 30, $40,000, it's not going to be covered by the government over here. So I encourage you to have one for you and one for your spouse. We don't have a joint account here in Philippines, just for the purpose of, hey, if mine gets compromised and it's lost, or I don't have the pin or whatever, I lost the pin. Guess what? We still have hers, and we can still fund both accounts simultaneously. But ultimately, the most important thing is you need to be disciplined with your money. All right. And then that's pretty much it that I had. That was the one thing that I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Was like, that's what is
glad
it.
it
I
came
lost my
back.
train of thought. I was like, there was something else.
Thank you.
So VPN, and don't do a joint. Tell your spouse you love them. It has nothing to do with you loving your spouse. It has a lot to do with being logical. And if you lose that ATM card, right, you can tell your wife, I love you. Oh my gosh, I love you. Or you could be like, damn, I'm glad I'm smart, because now that I lost my credit card or my ATM card, we got your ATM card, boo. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what? And you know what? If you can swing it, because every bank account, whether it's BDO, BPI, PNB, right? That's it. The cap is 500,000 peso.
That's true.
So if you open up a bank account with BDO, great. That account is covered. You know what I mean? 500,000 peso, right? It's per person. So if something ever does happen, you're losing ATM, then you have another account that you want to go to.
Yeah, the other thing about Filipino banks, I'm gonna just tell you, it's gonna be like a whole day event. So, clear your calendar because you need to spend the whole day there. All right. Everything's really slow in the Philippines when it comes to like the banks. And I mean, nobody's in a rush. Nobody cares that you're gonna have to sit there for 2 to 3 hours waiting for that line to finally for them to say your name. And here, there's a priority line. All right. So if you're young like us and you ain't got no like ailments,
Senior card. We ain't got no senior card.
No disability, no nothing. Like you have to wait in the line. And if an old person comes in, or a lady with a baby, or someone with a cane,
which is great. I admire that, by the way.
They go ahead. They go right to the front. There's no waiting for
Even
that.
at Jollibee.
Doesn't matter where you
or
are.
Or McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
This is awesome. I was like, what? They don't have this in the US. You know what I mean? There's no separate line for the elderly or the disabled or the pregnant women. They don't have that. They don't have it.
But there is a culture here of people cutting in front of you. So you got to stay like on top of it. You got to be like looking at them in the eye. They're looking at you and you're like, I'm next, But yeah, I'm like, you look able-bodied. Okay, we equal here. You're not getting in front of me. But yeah, no, there's cutting in the lines. There's cutting in the lines. People getting in your space. Okay, I know I have like a little bubble, arm distance. No, they're right on top of you. They are sitting on top of you while you're in line.
I mean, I've used that card before. I'm a cousin.
No.
Cousin. Hey, what's up, cousin?
There are some culture stuff that's really hard to deal with, but that's okay. I'm not used to having people like brush up against me.
Whoa.
Wait, and then I'm like, I'm waiting in line here. Yeah, no, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Which is, I mean, it's good. It's culturally, it's part of the culture. So we deal with it. We deal with it. I had something else too, but I lost it. Darn it, I lost it. But yeah, that's pretty. Oh, VPN. That's what like. So there's other advantages of VPN other than just keeping your stuff secure. Like here, Pandora will not work.
Netflix.
Unless you have VPN. Netflix will work, but you get like
Mario movie. You
Yeah,
can't watch that
you
here.
can't watch that
without
stuff
the
here with a
VPN.
VPN. Let me see. So, like all those subscriptions, don't get Peacock because Peacock doesn't work out here. Don't
Disney
get Disney
doesn't
Plus.
work.
Don't get Disney Plus. It doesn't work out here. Netflix works, but it's got more
You
of
can.
the Asian language, and not
Oh
necessarily
yeah.
not necessarily in English, right? So all of the English words, my kids get frustrated sometimes. And Netflix, you need to fix this, okay? So in the US, the Netflix would be like in English, right? Like the first 4 seasons would be in English.
He's
and then
talking about
one
anime,
Japanese series. Anime and cartoons.
Japanimation.
Here, it's all Japanese. And it's like, that's
And-
cool. We love Japanese, but it's like, man, the kids
You have
right
to
now
read it.
they have to read it, and
You
my
have to
son
read
is
it.
like learning
How to read.
mother tongue, right? And he's like, I can't. This is too fast. The subtitles are too fast for him to read.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of benefits of having VPN.
Yeah, and I will tell you,
and it's for security purposes.
Totally for security. You know, just when we were in Mabini, I know
Mabini?
when we were in Mabini,
Uh-huh.
I got a request for verification code on my phone, and I thought, So I know my phone number is compromised somewhere out there in the world, and I need to reclaim it back. I did see a YouTube video on how to reclaim it back, so I'm going to try to do that. But I went to my phone. I'm sure they broke into whatever it was they were trying to get into. Maybe it was Facebook because I got screwed.
Yeah, it has to be Facebook.
It happened right at that moment.
Okay, wait. Check this out, guys. So did you reach out to Facebook to resolve that problem?
Yeah, and they never said anything back to me. Totally ghosted.
Damn.
But I got like
Bookface.
100 bots saying that, if I send them $1 million, they'll give me my information right away. They'll fix it.
Got him. So if you have Facebook,
Yeah.
do a double authentication so that way nobody can get into it.
Fix it, guys.
Fix it now, because you know what? Having Bookface is valuable here in Philippines because the marketplace is where you can find stuff.
Yeah.
Right, talking about like vehicles,
Yeah.
cars, land,
The
house,
digital-
rental.
The digital scam out here is so bad, guys. So bad. I used an ATM, a new ATM I've never used before, right up the street. The very next day, I got a text.
Was it RCBC?
Yeah, it was RCBC in the mall. I had never used that ATM. I used it, and the very next day, I had some kind of like fake message on my phone. So I'm sure that fake message on my phone is the same one that they use to do other things. So yeah, guys, the scams are real out here.
So you might want to protect yourself.
Yeah, protect yourself.
Right. So those 4 things, right? Protect yourself with these 4 things. To save you money, right, from ATMs, get Charles Schwab.
I was like, insure your car with Swipe. No.
For daily transactions, no transaction fee, and making sure that nobody gets your credit card number, get an Apple Card. Okay. Get a US phone for double authentication, and make sure that you don't use that phone here in Philippines. Get a different Filipino phone number. And then the last thing is get a VPN, because in order for you to use applications from the United States, like banking, Pandora, okay, Netflix, Charles Schwab, you are going to need a VPN.
Mhm.
They want to know that your IP address is in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you do those 4 things from Hobart, all right, and Davina, you would be successful in transitioning you and your family. Or if you are a passport bro, you will be better off because nobody's going to scam you, all right, with these 4 things. So just make sure you do that, please. And you know what? All these tech scams and all that stuff, they're probably not here in Philippines. They're probably somewhere else in a
India
different
or
country.
something.
they're probably somewhere else, all right? But the culture here is so beautiful. And we were talking about it today. We were in Isabela and we were driving, right? We were just driving, and to our left, rice fields. To our right, rice fields. I feel like we are so close to nature here in Philippines. and things are just that much healthier. What
Yeah.
we ate over the weekend, none of that was processed. It came from a duck that they grew, a chicken that they had, a goat that they, had. All the vegetables, right, are all farm to table.
Yeah,
So
even my soursop
or
guayabano tree leaves
So
very very
well,
fresh.
you know what? While we're at it, do you think that you're healthier here in Philippines or in the U.S.?
I'm way healthier here. My stress levels are way down. I am exercising more than I used to, even though I may weigh a little, but the where I hold my weight is very different. So like I'm like less up in here because I used to be like I've thinned out. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've lost a lot of weight here in Philippines, and I can see that.
Yeah, all the clothes that never that fit me like really tight, they fit me loose.
And that's not even trying. Like I would say, the first month that we were here, I was running religiously, but then it was like my running got into the way of like spending time with the kids and dropping them off to school, and then construction and things like that. And now we just do like 3 to 5 miles of walk
A day
every
of
day.
walking.
But we're a lot happier here. Our kids are like more mellow.
Hit the like button, guys.
I don't even know why, but our kids are more mellow. We have more time spending with each other. And as far as like cost of living, way cheaper. And then if you compare like what food you're buying in the US, like the fast food, to the food that you're buying at the Carinderia, it can't even come close. We were talking about it today, Karyong, and we were discussing how like we don't cook at all. We don't cook because it's a lot cheaper to go and to a carinderia and buy the food compared to cooking at home. If we cook at home, I would probably spend like 400, 500 peso. But if we go to a carinderia, it's 250 to 300 peso for like 5 different dishes. Right. And we go to
less than $10.
Yeah, less than $10. No, yeah, about $5, $6. Yeah, $5, $6, and that feeds us for lunch and dinner. The only thing that we probably cook at home, which I prefer, is rice. We cook rice at home.
Yeah. All right, so let's get down to the comments. I got Willie Bobo in the house. Willie Bobo, love and miss you, and it's so great to see you watching us. So thanks. Who else?
Robert
hey, Alejandro. Yeah, they plan on having a small farm, which is great for raising kids.
Part of our plan, great place to raise kids. You know what, Alejandro, like seeing my kids today, this weekend at the farm, right? At Valens Farm, right? That's her family's farm. And they were fishing. It was just like, it was so joyful. Like that was the first time that my kids have ever fished, right? And they did it here in Philippines. And it kind of like, it reminds me of how I grew up and why it's important for parents to be there for their children. So if anybody watching out there, if you can swing it, right? Because culturally here in Philippines, the culture and their values in the school is aligned with what we want versus what's happening in the United States.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great opportunities in the United States, but I think that when you drop your kids off at 7:30 in the morning and you don't see them until 5 p.m., 5:30 at night, there's a missing piece there, right? Especially at this critical moment in our kids' lives.
Yeah.
Like my son is 8, my daughter is 9. They will never ever be this age again. And I don't want to have that regret. I'm pretty sure nobody does.
Moving to the Philippines is by far the best decision we made. Like, yes, we talk about joining the military, that being one of the best decisions we made. But moving to the Philippines, bringing our children here so they can experience the culture. And that is the number one best experience or decision that we've made.
Yeah. And you know what? They're having such a blast. We always have kids over. they're hanging out with our kids. The kids are enjoying the culture. What did the kids tell you about the farm experience, by the way?
Oh, they loved it. Harold told me, "Mom, I had such a great weekend." And I was like, "Really, babe?" He's like, "Yeah, I loved fishing and hanging out with my cousins." And I was like, "Oh, great, babe." And he's like, "We could go again." Like,
Yeah.
and he's never like that.
He's never
So
like that.
It was great.
It was awesome. It's
Mhm.
awesome.
It was awesome.
So
So Valen Rangel, she's in the house, y'all. She says farm life is the best.
that is
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. So Valen, we now know where you grew up,
Mhm.
right? We've heard some stories, okay,
Yeah.
about your past, right?
No, no, he's just being ridiculous. But we did meet your clones.
Yeah,
They all look
Your
exactly
mom
like
is
you.
so down to earth.
They look exactly like you.
And you know what? Your father was willing to share and impart some agricultural knowledge.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Both your mom and your dad, they've inspired me, right?
Mhm.
They're even willing to help out. So I told them, I said, hey, you know what? We're eventually gonna buy some land, and definitely I am gonna call you and definitely work
we
something out.
We need some advisors.
Yes.
All right. You got anything else to add?
No. That's
All
pretty
right,
much
guys.
it. But yeah, I would say, Harold, hey man, I just want to let you know, meeting Valen's family this weekend, you did good, bro. You did good, bro. Hey, you did good. Hey, her family's awesome. So,
Yeah.
all right, toodles. See you guys.
Have a good night. Live life to the fullest.